this session. Okay. All right. It's already recorded. Recording. Okay. Let's start with class. Okay. I posted this file last night. Hopefully you already downloaded. All right. This is gonna be our in-class exercise. Looks interesting to do and fun stuff to do lah. Right. Later on, I will brief you the assignment. Where the assignment, don't be surprised, the assignment will not that complex as you think. Um, I think the practical in class in class exercise looks more complex, but for the assignment, not really so. Um, the reason before you ask, the reason because for the next one, this is gonna be your last assignment, right? And you have another one assignment later, in 2 weeks time. That is their assignment. The last assignment is a group assignment. It's a group project, and that one is gonna be really complicated and heavy in terms of simulation. So I'll scale down the assignment toughness this round for assignment 4 before you get into the final project later, which is more heavier. Okay, so hopefully can finish it on time. I already scaled down the assignment. Okay. Okay. So if you play this file, if you look at the file, there's an animation of the rocket, right? It's just 170 frames only. Only a few seconds. So your task is to simulate the smoke underneath the rocket, basically the thrust, and you have to simulate the smoke trail with the rocket. Okay, so before we start to do this, let me introduce you um, the new tools. I'm just gonna start a new scene here. Okay, so let me introduce you a new simulation solver, which is the nParticle here. Okay, so hopefully you have this. By right, you should have this. If you have the n constraint, n cloth, n catch, you should have the nParticle as well, because we are still in a. Is it lagging? Oh, okay. Um, how am I gonna do this? Is it just you or the rest of you? All of you? All of you having the same issue?
I can still see the screen smoothly.
Yeah, maybe Adam, I think just you, the connection. Maybe your connection, Adam. Okay, so let's continue this. Um, okay, so this is nParticle. All right, so within this nParticle, you can do a lot of stuff. All right, for instance, um, you can do, and I mean, you can use nParticle um to create smoke, of course, to create rain, snow. What else? You can create what else? Okay, for example, let's say if you wanna duplicate stuff, um, and then basically instance the tool called instance, so that let's say you have one stuff and you want to duplicate uh, that stuff to to have many, basically like, how do I say this? Crowd, let's say crowd, right? In the stadium, for example, the crowd in the stadium, instead of you position the people one by one, right, in the stadium, you can use this particle to represent the people sitting or standing in the stadium, right? So imagine like you have thousands of people, maybe hundreds of people in a stadium. So um, if you have that model of people standing or sitting on the stadium with the actions, um, there's gonna be a lot of a lot of RAM usage. It's gonna be heavy, like basically, right? Um, Instead of having an individual people, you arrange one by one, sitting or standing in the stadium. You can use particle, which is just one dot, represent the people, right? So you need to have a few samples of people, maybe clapping, maybe jumping, maybe sitting, maybe just standing, pointing to something, right? Maybe let's say you have 5 sample, and you can use that 5 sample and randomize it in the stadium by using particle, right? So those particles on the stadium represent the people. So when you render or when you view it, it will show only the people, not the particle. The particle is just a proxy, right? Or placeholder for you to place the people standing, right? So it's a lot more lighter than having an individual people in the scene with the animation. Okay. All right. So first thing, I would like to introduce you the emitter here. So under nParticle, there's a lot of stuff here. Maybe I'll cover goal instance, and of course the emitter here, which is the nParticle, right? Create emitter, emit from object. Okay, so this one, and the first thing I would like to introduce is the create emitter. So basically, emitter is a point. When you click this, it will create a point, which is the emitter, that will emit the particle from one source to whatever direction that you give, right? For example, this one, by default, it was set to omni. So go to option here. Um, you have a lot of stuff here to change, but don't worry, right? Once you change here, you can change later on in terms of the the types, the speed. You can change later on. All right, this is just a setting for you to start. So if you look at here, this is by default set to omni, right? So if you click here, there's a direction and volume. All right, so omni means from one point it will spread out to the surrounding, right? That is omni. Direction means it depends on the direction, whether it's x-axis, y-axis, or z-axis, right? You need to set, by default it's set to, if I'm not mistaken, it's set to y, negative. But for now, just let's start with omni first, right? And just create. So you will notice this is one green color dot over here, circle over here, that represent the emitter, right? So basically you can move it up, down, left, right? Up to you. Okay, let's play this. Hopefully you can see, hold on. Okay. Hopefully you can see the particle falling on the ground, right? So those are particles coming up from the emitter, all right? So if you go on the outliner, right, you'll notice there's three things. One is the emitter itself. Second is the particle, right, which is the nParticle. And of course, the universal setting with for the nucleus, which is the nucleus lah, right? You will have these in nCoth, in nConstraint, right, and as well as nParticle. Okay, so it's the same thing here in a nucleus. You have gravity, you have plane, you have substep, max collision and iteration, right? Time attributes, scale attribute. Okay, so this one maybe I am not gonna cover this. Maybe you can play around later because definitely you guys are already familiar with this nucleus, right? So just gonna focus on the emitter and also the end particle here. Okay, right. So if you click on the emitter, right? So you go to the attribute editor here. You will see exactly the same thing when I go to the option of the when I want to create the emitter here, right? Omni, rate per particle per second, and then you have minimum distance, maximum distance, you have speed, same thing, right? Like I said, you always can change it later, right? So now we are currently in Omni. Okay, so if you change to the directional, you will notice distant direction attributes here also will, I mean, it will allow you to change something here, right? Direction X, Y, and Z. So if you go to Omni, it will disable this because there's no direction for this emitter to go lah. Basically, it's from one point spread on the surrounding, right? That is Omni. Directional, you can set this directional X is 0 as it's 1. The rest of it is 0. So it means that it will just go to the x-axis lah, basically. Okay, that is the particle going only on the x-axis. Okay, so if you want to go with to the other direction, you can just set it to -1. It will go to the other one, right? The other direction, or maybe on the z-axis, for example, it will go to the z-axis. Okay, or -1. -1. Okay, go to the other round. All right. Right. So down here, if you go to here, there's a spread. Spread means basically spread lah. Right. Spread the direction. You already set the direction to -1. So you don't want it everything goes to that direction uniformly, right? Everything, every single point, every single particle. Maybe you want to randomize the direction a bit, right? You can basically have this spread, maybe 0.2. So it will spread lah. But everything go to that direction, -1, which is the z -1. But it will spread the every single particle not having in one line. Alright? So that is spread. So if you go to 0, no spread, it will just go to one direction. Every single particle goes to, I mean, just move to the one direction. Okay, no spread. You can increase to many if you want, depending on the whatever you want to achieve lah, right? Okay, for now, I'm just gonna stick with Omni, right? And then you have this speed. Okay, speed means what is the speed of the particle, right? at a time. So for now, it's just set to 1 by default. If you increase, it will move faster. Okay? So more faster, more speed, more momentum. So one for 1 point, it will come up from this emitter more faster, means more momentum to push, or to push from 1 point to another lah, basically, right? So basically you set the speed, so you can increase the speed actually. You see it will spread out more, right? And it become, you can have this as in source of rain lah, basically. If you have a scene down here, see, okay, maybe more speed. Okay, that is speed. And then you can randomize the speed. Basically, every single particles here has their own speed, not having everything, not having a 10 speed of time. Maybe some of it having a 5, maybe 8, maybe 9, maybe 1. So you randomize the speed. So yeah, it will look more natural lah, right? And then okay, down here, nothing much you can change. If you go to here, rate particle per second here is the amount of particle that you set to emit per second in 1 second. How much? How many? The more you set, the more particle will be emitted at one time lah, basically. Right? So let me set this to 1 just now. Okay. So that is the initial particle that is emitted from this emitter lah, right? This amount. So basically, second, let's say, what is 24 per, okay, 24 frames per second. Okay. Let's say if I go to 24, somewhere here, 24 frames per second, right? So if you count here, there is hundreds of particles over here, right? Because you set only 100 particles per second. So in 1 second, there is 100. So if you increase this to, let's say, 350, so it will emit 350 particles in 1 second. You have more, see? The more you have, the more volume, the more density that you have for the particle. So if you set to 10, you only have like 10 in 1 second. You can count, right? So it's 100. Okay, so far clear for the emitter setting? Any question so far? No question. Okay, let's move on from here. All right, so that is the emitter settings that you can do within this Maya. All right, and then let's go to particle. All right, so particle is quite heavy to explain. There's a lot of stuff here. Okay, so for example, so if you go to the attributes, it's under nParticle shape 1. So if you click that one, right, you will have this. There's a lot of stuff here. Right, count here is the counter for the particle emitted from the emitter. So now I already have 179 particles emitted from there. So if you go to frame 1, 0, so basically when you play, when you stop, then it will count for you how many particles is already emitted from this emitter, right? It's just a counter. Okay. Lifespan here. Okay, before that, let me set a playground lah. Okay, this one can be passive collider. Okay. Okay. So go back to this and particle. Okay, lifespan here means basically you set the age lah, the age of these for these particles, right? So for now, by default, it's set to live forever, means it will live forever. It will stay there forever, right? Even on the ground, it will stay forever till the end of the frame. Okay, so here you can change to constant. So let's say constant, lifespan constant to 1 means like it will stay there lah, right? But you just set to 1. So 1 means 1 second. In 1 second, this is in second, right? So in 1 second, it will live in 1 second, and then after they hit 2 seconds, it will die lah basically, right? So if you increase this to 3, it will live within that 3 seconds. Then the rest, I mean, after that, they will gone. So you can see down here, maybe 2 lah, 2 on air. Maybe 1.5 tak sampai. Not even hitting the ground, and then the lifespan, basically the age of this uh, particle shot lah, basically, right? It will gone here, somewhere here, 1.5 second, right? So if you click here to 3 seconds just now, or maybe 2 seconds, it will live within the 2 second, and after 2 seconds, it will gone. Okay. Constant means every single particle, it will live just for only 2 seconds. After 2 seconds, it will gone. Okay. Random range here. Random range means you randomize the age of single each of the particles are basically, right? Lifespan, let's say you set to 2. Lifespan random, you can set to 1 maybe. So it will randomize the particle more. Maybe some of it will end their life soon. Maybe some of the particle will end their life a bit later, right? So randomize lah basically. So this one, let's see, I set to 1.8 just now. You can see the randomness of the lifespan lah. You can increase this more. See, left and right, left and right, left and right. So you can see some of the particle ends earlier. Some of the particle will end their life later. So you have that randomized lah. Lifespan PP particle. This one is something that you need to do on the command lah. There's a command script for this, but this one maybe I will cover this in a separate session lah. In a video, I will post you the video for you to just for this portion, right? Because after this, I need to cover the pin effects as well. I'm afraid I don't have enough time to show that one. But don't worry, I'll provide the video for this one, right? For the PP. Okay, next one. Let's go to the particle size here. Okay, nothing changed here. If you sorry. Okay, if you go to here, okay, this particle size is not the size of the particle, right? Nothing changed in terms of the particle, every single size here. It's more towards the environment actually, right? So if you increase this to 0.5, 1, maybe 4. Okay, so you can see how do I say this? This is more towards the environment. This is more towards the environment, right? So this only is the imaginary particle basically that you see here, but this is more towards a particle. So this one particle size represent what size, right? So that's why if you increase this one, that you have gap here. So it means that the particle that you have here is bigger than the actual size lah, basically, right? That's why you have gap over here. This is where is that? Okay, this is not represent the size of that every single particle. If you want to change the particle size, you can go to later. I will show you, right? Not here. So this one is set to 0.2. This one, having this RAM, basically you can set the early, like the hair before, the tip and the root, right? So basically this is the beginning, and on the right side is the end lah. You can set a RAM for that. Okay, in terms of the radius scale, the size, particle size. Okay, for now, just let it be default lah. Right. Collision. This one, if for now, you cannot see much in terms of the collision here. There is just only on the bottom here. Later on, I'll show you like maybe I can jump this one first. Let's go to this shading. Then I'll go back to this collision lah. Okay, so shading, under shading, right? Particle render type here. There's many. Okay, by default it's set to point just now. So you can change to every single thing. So multi-point. If you go to change to multi-point, see you have different kind of particle that emitted from the emitter. Okay, multi-point. So basically you have a multiple of point within multiple of particle within that one point, right? You have more lah. The particles is a bit thicker and also more dense than before. Okay, multi-streak. So instead of having a point, you have a streak lah, basically like a trail, every single point there. So this one can be like a rain. If you can create rain, what do you call that? Spark. You can create spark as well. Whatever trail basically, right? Spark, welding spark. You can have this. What else? Waterfall. You can use this for rain. Okay, many other stuff lah. That is multi-streak. Numbering, just a random numbers lah. Okay, instead of point, particle is number. This one is point just now by default. And then you have sphere. Okay, you can emit a sphere, and then you can emit a sprite, which I will cover later. The sprite over here. Okay, this is sprite. Streak. Just now is multi-streak. This one is streak. Less dense. Than before. Blobby surface. And then you have cloud. And then you have tube. Okay. Okay, so basically, let's say if I just choose a sphere right over here, collide means, let's go back to the collision here. Collide means whether you want it to collide with the other object or not lah, basically, right? Right now it's collide to the ground, right? So if you turn off, it will not collide to anything lah, basically, even you set this to passive. Okay, so it will only react to a certain things or collide to another thing when you turn it on lah. Okay, and then down here is self collision. Self collide means collide to each other lah, basically in between the the sphere over here. If you look at here, it's overlapping, right on the ground. So let's say if you turn this on, basically it will avoid it to be overlapping lah to each other. Okay, that is self collide. And then you have collide strength here. Basically, adjust the amount of how do you want it to be lah, basically collide strength. So this is 100% set to 1. If you set this to 0.5, maybe halfly, you can see 0.5, like half lah, basically. Some of it will stay up, some of it will stay down. Wait, why is it no changes here? Collide layer. Oh, sorry. This is for self collide. Sorry, my mistake. This is for self collide. All right. Maybe some of it will have will collide, overlap. Some of it will not. Right. At this point, I can't see some of it. Like that one. No. Some of it lah. Some of it will go through or overlap to each other lah, basically, right? So this is collide strength, and collision layer here is basically set a layer for the collision lah, basically. How do I say this? Okay, let's say you have two emitters, right? You want to group this to one layer, right? To one group, basically, right? So you can set this number to 1. Basically, everything in terms of the collision here, it's under category number 1, right? So for example, let's say you have another emitter, emitter number 2, and it will emit sphere as well. And then self collide. Too short. Okay. Okay, so for example, let's say you have many emitter, right? If you look at here, oh man, my keyboard is stuck. Okay, all right. So particle here, so both you set to where is it? Okay, so both you set to self collide, right? So this one is set to collision layer to number 1. This one is set to collision number 0. Let's say this is 2. Okay. Okay. So basically, what happened here? They say this strength, collide strength, you set to 1, right? So this one you set to 0.2, for example, right? So you will tell that, okay, this group 1, layer 1 is 0.2. This layer, collision layer number 2 is set to 1. So you basically group it lah between these two. Okay. We'll stop there. So this one, let's say particle number 2 set to lesser lah, collide. Okay, you have more. So you randomize the collide strength between these two group. Okay, and then you next one you have, for now we just maintain here lah. Okay, next one you have collide with scale and self collide with scale. So this one collide with scale, just for the collide with scale, by default is set to 1. Okay, and then if you look at collide with scale, if you look at this, oh man, bit confusing. Let me delete lah. Let me delete this one. Bit of confusion, right? Okay, collide with scale here is just to for the collide, and self collide with scale is for the self collide lah, basically. This is set to 1 by default, right? So if you go to, you set to 0.25, which is lesser lah, you will notice that it will just stay there, overlapping, and close to each other lah, basically. Okay, this thing happen is why this thing happen, because of the width scale for each of the particles here, right? So basically 1 means the whole thing lah, the whole how do I say it? The whole size of the sphere just now, right? So if you decrease the numbers here to 0.25, means it will decrease the size lah. Even though the size is the size, but the way that this simulation calculate, it tells the solver, saying that, oh, this ball is not in 1:1 ratio in terms of the scale, right? This is 1 sphere represent maybe quarter of it, the size. Okay, so if you increase more than 1, 0.1.5, okay, it will repel, it will this you can see it will look odd, because even though that is the size, there's another barrier outside of this sphere, right? Because the size of every single is it will not collide to each other, it will have that gap, right? Okay, so that is self collide with scale, sorry, collide with scale, and this is self collide with scale, basically. This is represent the self collide just now. That is in between them lah, self collide. still, you see, overlapping each other. Maybe we can set to 0 point, maybe 2, let's say 2. Two means there's a lot of gap in between them. Okay. And then solver display is off. It's just a display only. Alright. Bounce. By right, you should know already what is bounce. Right. Bounce is bouncing lah, basically. Bounce. Okay. There's no bounce. Now you have bounce. Okay, maybe not bounce, maybe 0.2, but maybe increase the stickiness. So basically, you can play around with this value lah. Sticky. .8. Okay, so you can play around with this value over here, right? So basically, later on when you do your practical in class exercise, I want you to explore basically, right? Spend maybe 2 or 3 hours after the class, right? Just for you to test on every single thing here. When you change here, what happened? When you change here, what happened, right? There's a lot actually here. This is only collision. Okay. Okay, so that is collision. So done with collision. Ramp here just for the ramp lah, basically, right? Strand scale, it's the same thing just now. Friction, bounce, but you can change. You can have the setting in RAM lah. You can set the early particle maybe less sticky. The end of the particle maybe is getting sticky, right? This one. Maybe early stage is sticky, but let's say at the end it's not sticky. For example, okay. Right, so that is stickiness. Collision, under collision. Right, so done with collision, done with shading. We'll get back to that collision. Okay, dynamic properties here. I think I don't have to repeat lah. This is same thing, damper mass, where you can set the drag, right? Dynamic weight. So this one, I leave it up to you lah. By right, you should know already this thing and this thing. So let's say if you want to make it look heavier, then you increase the mass lah, right? Heavier, right? Dynamic weight. Mass 6. Okay, and then mass scale here, you can set it to RAM as well. Maybe the early particle is not that heavy. When it gets to the ground, it's getting heavier. Something like that lah, right? Or maybe at the beginning it's heavy, and then towards the end is not heavy. Also can. Okay, so it's up to you. How do you want it to be lah, right? So that is dynamic. Force field generation here is set it off. Force field generation here, I usually not use here. I usually use in, hold on, let me reset this to the default setting. Easy for me to explain. Hold on, guys. Okay. So where was I just now? Force field generation here. Okay. Let's set this to. Wait now. Easy for me to explain. Okay, hopefully you can see. Okay, so let's say if I increase this particle to 300 per second, basically you will have more lah. Okay, so usually instead of using the force field generation here, usually I will use the whatever field and so will other this lah. Let's say you want to add turbulence here, so I'm just gonna add the turbulence. You'll have the turbulence lah. Okay, increase the magnitude here. You will have that randomness of the movement lah. On after that, instead of everything position in one point, right? They will randomize the movement lah. Basically, you can see here, go there, you see here, right? So basically, you can have this turbulence so that you can see it's more natural lah. Okay, instead of using that in the here, I will have a separate turbulence applied within the scene because I can get more settings to set lah basically, right? Noise level, noise ratio, frequency. You can increase the frequency here. Will get a lot of will get crazy lah. Going crazy lah basically when you had add the turbulence, right? So if you want to have that force field, just get it from the field and solver here. If you want a radial turbulence vortex, if you want it, just have it there lah. Add it to the scene, right? For example, like this one, you don't want the turbulence, you want vortex, for example. Just add the vortex. Increase the amount of magnitude here. Spinning and spreading. Because that is vortex. Spinning. Okay, so usually I will have this separately lah in a force field instead of using it in the nParticle itself. Okay. That is force field. So get back to this. Okay, we'll skip it here. But if you want to use, up to you. You can use. But I will prefer the separate force field lah, basically. Right, next one, rotation. Nothing here, rotation. Nothing much to see. Rotation is just a rotation of that every single particle. Not really in terms of the usage, I'm not really sure. But it's just basically if you have this one particle here, uh, basically that particle will rotate lah. But for now, I'm not really sure what is the function of it lah. But I will show you when we start to do this mock later. When we start to do this by using the sprites later, right? After that we have wind field generation. Same thing lah. Basically, if you wanna get wind, I usually will have this wind lah, turbulence or something, right? So this wind is just a wind that you can have in the what do you call this simulation lah, this particle, right? So if you want to get wind, I will prefer you to use the separate for a solver or fill lah, right? This one wind you can nucleus wind, okay. In direction x to x, maybe to z lah, to z. Okay, so it will push towards z lah more, okay, because that is the wind. So I will prefer you to use the wind in solver or fill lah if you want it in your simulation in particle here. Okay, set to 0 just now. This one also 0. Okay. Right. Let's continue. Liquid simulation here. I'll show this you next week lah when we start to do the liquid simulation next week. With another tools lah, right? So I'm not gonna use this nParticles. Just focus this nParticle just to do particle stuff lah, right? We'll show you later this one next week. This one output mesh. If you have a mesh, I'll show you later when you start to do the instancer. I'll show you, right? But for now, just keep first. Catching is catch. Emission attribute here is just something to do here, right? Emitter here, rate per second. Max count is -1. So if you set to -1, means it will follow whatever that you set here, particle per second. If let's say max count is 100 or maybe 300, it will just emit 300 particle and then it will stop. Okay, something that it can be related with this emitter lah, basically, right? If you want it to follow whatever on the emitter, set to -1 lah by default. Okay, it will just infinite will keep on emit the particle. Okay, that is emission attribute over here. Okay, shading. Basically, I'll show you just now. Shading, sphere. Okay, this sphere, sorry, this render type depends on the purpose lah, right? Later on, I will show you the sprite, which maybe it can be used for your for your in-class exercise later, right? But for now, just stick with sphere lah. Easy for me to show you. Right, opacity scale. This one, everything is max. For example, this one. what is this basically? Hold on, yeah. Okay. This one opacity scale, it's depending on the types that you select lah. Not every single thing can be showed. Like this one, select position. Next. Okay, this one, if you change here, nothing else. I mean, nothing much that you can see based on this. If let's say if I set this to multi-streak, by each. Cannot see. I cannot see it here lah. Basically, by each. Okay. There you go. Okay, so sphere just now cannot be seen because not a suitable things to show. I mean to use. Basically, you cannot have this every single ni lah, types. Alright, so only selected types can be applied lah. Okay, this one, let's say this one, the beginning is 0, and then you have this in the middle, and then maybe the last one you want to show it here. So in order for you to see this, you need to change this opacity scale input here by what, right? By speed, it will apply only the speed, which is, I think the speed is everything is constant. Particle ID only selected. Gone. Okay. By age, the initial, this is the age, the early stage, mid, and then the end lah, the end of the life. So let's say their life, the end of their life, you want it to not to show lah. See, it will get lesser here there. The beginning you want to show, obviously, you see, will show. On the middle, just disappear a bit, and end of their life disappear totally. Okay, so that's how you you set lah basically. Okay. Okay, that is the opacity scale. Color as well. Color here, you can set color as well here. Let's say color here set to green, and then in the middle set to something else, I don't know, and then here to something else, and then the end of their life is red color. Okay, and then constant means everything is that color, so you need to change it to somewhere there lah, here lah, H. So the end of their life, it's red. So in the beginning, maybe not green, maybe blue. Somewhere here lah. So you can see clearly, okay, where is the coming towards the end of their life, basically, or the end age, and color over here lah, which is the red color here. in the viewport as well, you can see, okay, this color, red color it's going to die, like basically, right? The particle here. This is the initial. You can see the purple here, it's the mid, and then we have some turquoise color here, and then this in between, and then come to it become red. Red means it's end towards the end of their life lah, basically. So you can see clearly over here. Okay. Um. Why the color is totally out? Oh, okay. Hold on, guys. Okay. Right. And then that is the color, and then it incandences this one. Not really sure what is this. Never used this before, I believe. Let's check it out. Green. Green. Not really sure. I think it's the combination of in between this and this, and this and this. That's why you have this. I think it's the opposite color of whatever that you said here. I think basically, right? Blue, red, it will become pink. That is obviously green and blue. It will become turquoise. Yeah, this is obviously. So I think it's a combination of the color lah, basically. But for now, I'm just gonna stick with black. Means nothing's changed lah. Exactly whatever that set on the color. Okay, and that is under shading. And then let's go to the okay, this one per particle, I will cover this in a separate video. I'll post a video just specifically to explain this. Right. This is required some command lah, basically. Right. Um. Hold on. Where was I? Okay. Add dynamic attributes here is also something that relates to this. Right. Go with object here. Okay. Go object. Okay. Go with here. Let's do something lah here. Let's delete this and this. Sorry, guys. Okay. Let's say emit a particle in omni form. Wait, what happened here? Okay. All right. And then let's say if I have a locator, set of locator lah, basically locator increase. So let's say this is a locator, represent something lah. Okay. So I can set a goal where this particle going to be lah, right? So basically, let's say this is a particle, right? And I want it to go here. You can set this as a goal. You will have this one line lah, basically, right? So this represent the goal, which this emitter will emit particles, but this is the goal for the emitter and for the particle, right? It will goes to this direction and will goes to this locator lah, right? What you can do with this this emitter, sorry, this locator here, particle, go with, right? Locator one represent this one, right? Um, instead of having that one straight line, you can spread it, increase the size, increase the speed. Direction, speed, spread. Okay, and then you can have this turbulence in it, so that it's instead of like one straight line. Okay, and then go back to the particle here, go to the goal smoothness here, and locator here, right? So locator here represent this lah, whatever names that you assign. This is the name lah that we'll give, alright? So this is locator. So 0.5 means you can see from one point, the emitter, to the locator. That's it in between there. So let's say you want the locator to be 100%, just set it to 1. So there's no in between particle over here, right? So it's just particle and a goal. That is the particle over there. Okay. Let's set this to easy for you to see. Good. Hold on. Okay. And then emitter, let me reset this to 200. Good. Okay. Okay. So if you look at here, goal smoothness here is the how smooth that you want it to be, right? Why is it stays there? Hold on, yeah. Oh, because it's located. Okay, okay. Because it's 1. So let's say 0.1. 0.5. Okay. 0.4. Let's say maybe. Okay, you can see everything. It's there lah, basically. Right, instead of turbulence here, why don't we choose vortex instead? And you can have that randomized turbulence in this. Okay, more randomized lah, turbulence. Okay, so goals means just now, where was I? Okay, the particle here. Okay, goal weight and object here. When you set a goal, then only then you can set this lah, having these settings. If you don't set any goals, nothing much that you can do here, right? Even though you change anything, it doesn't affect anything lah, basically, because you don't have this, you don't set the goals. So only when you set the goal, this will appear, right? If not, it will stay empty lah here. I think if I'm not mistaken, it's just a goal smoothness, where there's no goal, even though you set, nothing changed, right? Okay. Then you have the instancer over here. Okay. Okay, let's do a new file, basically, right? Okay, let's start a hold on, guys. Give me some time. Okay, let's say if I have an arrow over here. Okay. Just gonna put here. Okay. Okay, let's say if I have an arrow over here, I wanna duplicate this arrow and place this into that particle, every single particle. For example, let's say so I have a create emitter here. Okay, so this is the emitter. Let's say I set this to directional and set this to the x-axis. X-axis, okay, x-axis. Instead of 100, maybe just only 30. Okay, speed, I increase the speed to 5 maybe. Okay. 6. Okay, and then okay, and then I will turn on the ground plane lah, basically. Okay, right. So imagine that in every single point, okay, every single point here represent the arrow. You can use, I mean, you can do that by select this and select the particle over here and go to instancer over here. All right, so in this instancer, you can just name it lah, arrow particle. Okay. And then instance object, you just select the whatever object that you name it lah. For now, for my case here is p-cube1. I don't rename it properly. And then the rest of it, the particle shape here represent the particle that you want it to replace lah. So every single particle here replace with this object, which is the p-cube1 over here, right? And then just create lah. Then you will have that arrow instead of emit a what do you call that, particle, it will emit the arrow lah, basically. So you can spread it to okay, and then maybe not to, you don't want it to collide, right? Self collide lah. Self collide with increase. Okay. So far clear until here? Any question? Okay. Right. Okay, so caps lock. Oh, okay. Never mind. It's okay. All right. Okay. After this, last part that I will cover for the end particle, which is the sprite lah. All right. So give me some time to find a a texture for you to use. Hold on, yeah. Hold on, you guys. I'm downloading a file right now. Okay. All right. So let's start with a new scene here. Okay. For example, I set a emitter again. Let's get back to the emitter again. Omni and set the speed. Okay. Last part of the end particle here is the sprite. So I want to show you. Just now I do the instancer. Whatever sample model that you have, you want to convert that every single point or particle represent that sample. You can do that. Or sprite, right? So sprite, let's say go to shading, particle render type, and go to sprite. Okay, so you will notice that this is sprite represent the cut. Okay, why my mouse doesn't work? Okay, so if you look at this sprites, okay, it will emit a card instead of whatever shape lah. It's just a card, right? If you notice, right, when I change this angle, the camera angle, you will notice that every single card will face to the camera, right? None of them are like you see the edge of, whatever rotation lah. So every single time when I change the camera angle, that sprite or the card will face to the camera all the time. Okay, so by having that, you can attach any texture so that it will can have like a 2D. It's actually a 3D, but in terms of the texture, you can set any 2D texture like basically, right? Um, okay, so for example, right now, if I change this back to, okay, so let's say if I change the color, Loading, guys. Okay, let's say this is the sprite, right? For example, let's say if I wanna assign this to become a what? Let's say smoke, alright? Just now I downloaded a smoke texture here. I got it from just Google it. Make sure it's PNG and the background is transparent, right? Just a smoke, a puff of smoke. You can just assign this texture, the particle texture, as usual, right? So for those who already taken look depth, I'm pretty sure you know how to assign a texture. So for those who haven't taken look depth class, I'll show you how to assign the texture, right? So here is the particle. Go to the hypershade. Okay, go to the hypershade. I'm gonna apply a Lambert, just a Lambert shader. Go to surface. My surface, where is it? Okay. Just go down and find Lambert, standard Lambert. Okay, this is a Lambert. Go to color. Okay, and find a file. So once you click this checkerboard icon here on next to the color, this will come up. Okay, and just find file. Okay, so this will come out and go to this attribute image name. Go find the file, right? Like this one. I'm just gonna find the file that I just downloaded just now. What's the name? PNG. Okay. So basically, I already apply it, and oh, okay, you need to apply, which is this Lambert too. Which is to smoke lah. Smoke. Okay, and then select the particle. Okay, make sure you select the particle. Right click, hold on the shader that you created just now with the texture, and assign material to selection. That's it. Okay, I know it's nothing here. In order for you to see, you need to change it to texture lah. Texture textured view means that you can see the texture lah basically. Okay, so that is the smoke texture. Okay, that you assign. Now the color is not very convincing, so you can change the color so that it looks like, let's say, what, fire, like a fire, right? For example, like a fire. Maybe first thing orange, use the truss, and then this one change to maybe orange. This one brighter lah, brighter orange. And then here maybe some orange smoky a bit. And then maybe a white smoke. Maybe this one is darker smoke lah. Oh, not black. Okay, something like that lah. And then the size. Sorry, not this one. The particle size. Size go to sprite scale X and Y here. Instead of 1 by default, you can set it to maybe 3 times with 3. Maybe 4, even 4, maybe 3.5 lah. 3.5 times 3.5. Okay. Okay, this sprite twist is just a twist lah, the core. That's it, nothing much. Okay. This one can be hold on, the emitter here, it needs to set it to directional instead of omni. Spread, and then direction is to Y, positive. Because of gravity. Okay, hold on. To turn off the gravity. It's getting weird. Hold on, you guys. Spread. Speed. Directional Y. Maybe we can set to -1 lah. It's okay. Okay. Okay, so basically you can have a smoke effect already lah by using that smoke texture, right? You can change this always. The color here maybe not that great. Always can change that. In terms of the randomize the age lifespan, maybe you can set this to basically you have to play around lah. You have to play around with the amount here. Radius scale to 5 lah. Randomize it. To 2.5. Okay. Of course, you can add the collision if you want, self collide, so it will repel. You will. Okay. Again, you can. Again, this is not a proper way to do this this kind of solution lah. But I just want to show you that you can get this. You can how to say this? You can use this tool also as in a smoke lah. If you want to do at least a play blast kind of effect. Sorry, not play blast. animatics. Let's say you want to do animatics, instead of having a proper fire and smoke, you can use this particle as the part of the process lah, right? I know the looks is not really convincing, but I just want to tell you that okay, you can use this particle to create smoke as well, and particle, right? Of course, you can use this other than this sprite. Of course, you can use cloud here, right? You can use cloud, and you can color the cloud over here. Okay, cloud to what I put in here. Okay, and then here too. Also another tools that you can use lah. Using by changing this to cloud, so you can use that as well, right? Maybe you can increase the size for that. Maybe they increase the speed. Okay, is that clear for now for you guys? Any questions so far? Okay, another thing to show you, which is the initial state, right? So for example, like now when I go to frame 1, it start with nothing, right? And if you play this, right? Let's say you want to start the scene or the frame with this, from this, right? So basically you can just select the particle here and go to the fill and solver here, initial state, set for selected. Okay, if you go to frame 1, hold on, what happened here? Okay, this one, go to fill, initial state. Select, I already select. Okay, yeah, there you go. Okay, so frame 1, I start with that frame. I start with that look, that kind of look, and then we'll continue lah basically. So I'm not starting from 0. So basically when it will keep on the loop lah basically. Even though now I set to 500. So after 500, it will keep on looping lah with this fire and also smoke. Okay. All right. Right. Okay. So next, before I basically I can just start lah. So okay, let's start with our class exercise. You guys can open it. So what is the difference between color and incandescence? Again, oh man, this is hard for me to explain. Okay, color means color, literally color. Incandescence. What is incandescence in Malay? You purposely ask me, or you don't know, or you just... Incandescent is pija. What is pija? In Malay is pija. So okay, in Malay it's called pija, but to explain this, imagine like okay, imagine like this lah, this smoke lah, right? Let's go to this. Where's okay? This is okay. Let's say this is orange, right? Let's say if I have blue color, this is the beginning. This is also beginning. Both set to each, right? So let's say the beginning I set to this to blue. Okay. So basically, it will counter back the color for on top of everything here, right? So orange plus blue, it will have that, how do I say this, the blue tint lah, basically, right? Let's say yellow plus blue, it will create green, right? So let's say this one, this one is almost green already, the yellow one. Okay, so it's just a fill color tint lah. For example, like another example is like a meteor or comet. The trail, if you look at the trail, the truss is the truss color, the core color is orange or yellow, right? But the tail is getting whiter and whiter, just bright color white. So that white color is the tint lah, basically. This incandescent color here. Okay, so this one, let's say if I set this to white lah, basically. Okay. Or maybe burning, let's say the glow of it, you want it to be orange. Yeah, the orange glow lah on that tail, on the tail lah, or the trail. Okay. Okay, and then what was I just now? Oh man. Oh, okay. About to open in the file. Okay. So you have a rocket over here, right? So your task, okay, is to simulate the smoke by using particle lah, right? So just leave it the cameras there and then go to perspective. So basically you can just isolate this lah. You just want to select this. And where is isolate? This one. Okay. Okay. Now your task is to attach the particle on top of this truss lah, basically. I mean underneath this truss. in order to do that, you can use curve if you want. Where is the curve? You can use curve, you can use plane, you can emit from the object instead of okay, this is the curve, right? And I want to parent it to the rocket. Shift select, press P, and by right it will follow lah. Okay, it will follow. Okay, so this one, go to nParticle, right? And you can just go to emit from object. Okay, emit from object instead of emitter, create emitter, emit from object. So make sure you select first the curve and emit from it. Directional, negative Y, X, no X, speed. Okay. But I want it to you do make sure it looks like a smoke lah, basically, right? And also the truss. You can animate those certain attributes over here and make sure it looks like a smoke lah, right? So I'll show you in the beginning how to start. So the look of it, I'll leave it up to you. Okay, I'll already show you the how to change the look of it, smoke, sprite, and those things. All right. How to change the color, the attributes, the rate, all right, particle rate, and directional or omni, that kind of thing, speed and spread, turbulence some more, all right. So you can add a turbulence here. Let's say this one, turbulence, and that turbulence needs to be higher number. It will randomize lah, add some noise. You see, instead of having that one straight line, you randomize the smoke or the particle. Okay. For example, like this one, if you look at this, maybe you need to change the lifespan, maybe. Okay. Instead of live forever, maybe random range to, I don't know, maybe 3. Maybe 2. I don't know. You try by your own lah. This is gonna be your exercise, in-class exercise. All right. I want you to do it now, and send it by tomorrow lah. Because if I'm not mistaken, this class recording will take some time because it's quite long to upload, and it's not fair for you to submit it by today lah. So once you get this file, I mean the recorded session, at least you can watch again and you submit it by tomorrow. Is that okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay. All right. So I'm just gonna be here. All right. So please do this. In the meantime, I'll show you the previous submission lah from previous class. Um, hold on. In the meantime, you can just start do first, right? Try to get familiar with the tools, with the settings and all that. Okay, this is some of the sample lah from previous class, right? Something that you can think of lah. Maybe you can do something like this. Okay. And hold on, let me find another one. I'll show you the bad one lah. This is the really bad one. Doesn't look like smoke at all. Okay, so I don't want you to submit like this lah. This is considered C. I'll put it as C. Great. Maybe something like this at least, but this one not really good lah. The previous one, the first one is considered like quite okay lah for me. Okay. Definitely fail lah this one, not this one. Okay. Okay, so I'll show you. I already show you some of it, some of the Nila submission from previous batch. So I want to do a better version of it lah. All right. Make sure you find a suitable shading. The rendering type, which is either stripe, um, sphere, or sprite, streak, multi-streak, or cloud, right? Make sure you choose a proper one lah. And also another tips, you can have a 2-particle emitter underneath the rocket instead of having one. Maybe one particle to emit the fire, one emitter to emit the smoke, maybe, or maybe this using multi-streak to have a spark. So basically, you can add more than one particle or emitter. Okay, maybe not one emitter for all. Maybe you can set one emitter just for the fire, one emitter for the smoke, one emitter for the spark, maybe for the light trail or something lah. Okay, so that's another tips lah for you to make it look more nicer. Don't use just only one emitter, because one emitter, what else you can do within the one emitter? I mean, only small thing lah. Okay, and also another things to remind you, all these settings can be keyframe by right click on it and set key lah in which frame that you want it to have this value, and until what frame to have another value, so you can keyframe that, right? Is there any questions so far from you guys? Any question from you guys? Okay, you guys want to try first. Okay, you guys try first. Okay. Okay, so you can try this later. Okay. I need also another time for you to introduce a new thing. This is gonna be your exercise, right? Another last thing to cover today is the pin effects, right? Pin effects, nothing much to explain lah. Basically, it's another new tools for you to get certain things lah. Okay, so I'll leave this for you to do later. Once you get the video, you can watch again how to find the settings, all right? Okay, I'll start a new one lah. Okay. 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 Pin effects is another tools that nothing relates to uh nothing to do with nParticle, iCloud or whatever lah. It's just a tools where you can get the what do you call that? A free or preset basically a preset basically. It's just a preset tools that you can get instead of finding it online or somewhere or model it from scratch. Maybe you can use that thing as part of your process lah, basically, right? So to go to the paint effects, why I can't see it here. Hold on. Paint. Okay. Wait, okay. So you can go to the effect here or get the effect assets over here. Okay. Or, okay. Or, hold on, let me find the other place to get that tools. I forgot already the other place to get that tools. Create, if I don't miss and create. Pin. Okay, here. Okay, so under generate. Wait, hold on. Is it in a generate is under modeling? Okay, it's under modeling. Go to generate. You can find the spin effect tools over here. Okay. Okay. And you can just spin effect here. Get brush. Okay. Get brush. Under pin effects. Get brush. And then go under this content browser. All right. You can see a lot of stuff here. that you can pin and you can have. You can just select like whatever you want, right? For example, let's say grass, right? Grass over here. Okay, just select it once and you can just pin on the plane lah, basically, right? It will create you a grass. Okay, so these pin effects tools, things that you can use for not just only for this class, for other classes as well. Let's say you want to create animatics, right? The environment, you don't have the environment is super clean. Instead of having this, model this grass manually, you can just use this paint, just paint whatever on the area lah, basically, that you want. This one, sample density here, you can increase. Will get more dense, but it will get more heavier lah, basically, right? Sit here to randomize the position of the grass, which is not really super important lah. And then end bound here where you start to draw and where is the maximum. Okay, so let's say this one. Okay, let's say this one. Okay, I set to keyframe this one, and then so basically you have this kind of drawing lah, basically. Oh, set keyframe. Okay, you have that kind of animation lah. Okay, for the grass to grow from one place to another place. So you can keyframe. Okay, so that is the function of having that pin pin effects lah. And there's a lot more actually you can explore by your own. To be honest, it's really a lot. Whether you can have a drain, snow, plant, trees. Where is trees? Okay, trees here. Um, Bamboo trees, for example. We already have a bamboo trees already. Okay, and you can play around with the in terms of the look, the quality of it, minimum clip and maximum clip here. Just now I did the what they call that, the direction, the movement of the grass growing, if let's say that is the thing that you want to animate. And also in terms of the bamboo, let's say for this one bamboo itself, the mesh you can tweak one tree. Easy for me to show you in just only one lah. Eh. Okay, let's say this one. Okay, bamboo tube section 6. You can increase this tube section. You have a smoother tube. Why? Okay, tube section. Twist. Let's say if you want to twist this tree more, you can twist. Okay, twist rate. Torn, mash, branches, You want to add more branch. Maybe this bamboo don't have that branch. Maybe the other trees has a branch where you can. Sorry guys. Where you can add more branches for the trees. Bamboo don't have branches. And then glow, if you want to add glow, flow animation. You know what is flow animation? Flow animation means hold on, let me get a new one. Maybe another tree. This one. Or maybe not this one lah. Set for you to judge later. Get brush, trees, plant, trees, tree smash. Maybe a oak. Oh, maybe not that one. Maybe bamboo lah. Stick with bamboo. Easy for you to look at. Okay, this one flow animation means okay. Time clip. Right. Start seconds 1 and second at frame. As it doesn't move. Nothing changed, guys. Basically, it's just a grow animation like I did for the grass just now lah. Basically, hold on. There. Okay. So this one. Okay. This one. Okay. Okay. Something like that lah. Basically. Okay. Something like that lah. Basically. Right. Same like the grass that I did just now. Flow animation, if you have one. Quick question about pin facts. Does the thing we draw stick on the 3D mesh when we animate it and or purely just forever? You can stick on the surface if you want. For example, from here to here. Okay, and then you want to pin this on top of this. Let's say plan lah. Let's say plan friend. Make sure you not to surface. Where is it? This one, is it? This one. This one. Pin. Where's the pin? This one. Why is that not printing on the... Hold on. Yeah. Live. It's already live. Eh? Live. Okay. Gosh. It's weird. It's not supposed to be like that way. But maybe I'll do a separate video for that. By right, it should be like this, where you can just paint on the surface. But I think, hold on, generate paint effect to make pineapple. Yeah, there you go. Then we'll move together lah. Does that answer your question, Chan Pei Siung? Okay. All right. So that basically a paint effects lah, basically, right? Okay, so maybe you can use this in your future assignment. I think maybe especially on the final project later, instead of your model and certain stuff, you can just use this paint effects to fasten the process lah, right? Any question for you guys? Any question for you guys? No question? Okay, if there's no question, I'll just gonna stop the recording now. Okay.